Greetings, you gilded geese. Hope you're doing well. My name is Graham, and welcome to the Crack-A-Pack here on LRRMTG. Today we're opening a pack of the Throne of Eldraine. The Throne of... There's no the. Throne of Eldraine. I really thought it was the Throne of Eldraine. I don't know why. This thing was running roughshod through Standard for so long, and I just forgot what it was called. This was given to us by Chris from Texas. Bracket, sent a cowboy hat. Bracket. I know we have that in the prop room. It's a very nice cowboy hat. It's the best cowboy hat I've ever owned. How many cowboy hats have I owned? More than you'd think, but they were crap. This one's great. But this pack was given to us at PAX South 2020. Rip PAX South. I liked PAX South a lot because it was this like tiny little part of San Antonio where you could pretend that like other parts of San Antonio weren't troubling. Anyway. Sorry, that was a little laborious, but there was tape across the bit you're supposed to rip. Anyway. Opt. Single blue mana for an instant. Scry 1, draw a card. I love Opt. I'm glad they've been basically bringing Opt back fairly regularly since Dominaria. I think that was the first time they'd brought it back in a while, and then they were just like, wait, this card's great. Let's opt more. Thrilled to the possibility of discarding an additional, or a card as an additional cost. Okay, that didn't work. That was bad. It's Thrill of Possibility. It's 1 and a red for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. We'll workshop that and we'll figure something out better, and we'll come back to it. That card is fine. Next we have Bartered Cow. In a vacuum, well, I wouldn't put the cow in a vacuum, but in a vacuum there are some Magic card names that are just very silly. It's like, oh yes, Bartered Cow. What? 3 and a white for a 3/3 Ox. Okay. Why you have to do these things? All right. When Bartered Cow dies, or when you discard it, which is a nice little additional option, create a food token. At the market, no one heeded Hilda's frantic mooing. The Fey curse was turning out even worse than she had feared. Oh no, poor Hilda. I hope Hilda doesn't get turned into food that soon, though it seems like that's what's about to happen. Aw, so tiny. Teeny tiny. It's a mana in a jar. So Tiny is a single blue mana for a creature enchantment with flash. The enchanted creature gets -2/-0, or it gets -6/-0 instead, as long as its controller has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. This was a key feature of the throwing your laptop into the wall deck. If you recall from the early days of Throne of Eldraine draft on Arena, when they misbalanced the bots and the mill deck was really easy to open. So everyone had Merfolk Secret Keepers, I think. And yeah, So Tiny was a great way to just not die while you milled out your opponent's entire deck, because why should both players get to play Magic? That said, So Tiny was great in draft, a very good card. Just a great way to not die in many different decks. Return to Nature is 1 and a green for an instant. Choose 1. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, exile target card from a graveyard. It does everything. It slices and dices and one other thing. I do love the interpretation of this card. Normally Return to Nature is shown on cards by way of illustration as something crumbling to dust or being overgrown with vines or something, is going back to being like reclaimed or something like that. Whereas this is Cinderella's carriage going poof back into a pumpkin at midnight, and that's except for the wheels. But anyway, I like that it's totally the same card, completely different flavor. Long after the magic wore off, the mice still dreamed of glorious galloping, tales of the Fae. Can you imagine what's going on inside their tiny minds when a mouse is like, I was a horse once? What's a horse? What was I doing? How? Derek, do you remember this? Yes. This is both of us, right? Yeah. What was that? Legs so long. Yeah. Ooh, cheese. Just think it'd be difficult for a mouse to comprehend. Giant's Skewer. Oh, it's a tricky one to say out loud. 1 and a black for an artifact equipment. The equipped creature gets +2/+1. And whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a creature, create a food token. And you equip for 3. Giant Skewer, I think, did a little better than it looks. Like, it was just kind of irritating. And like, you wanted to trade off for the creature, but then they got food, and food was useful. Food is useful. Graham, 2022. Mystic Sanctuary. This was a good cycle of lands. This is a land island. Not a basic, but it's a land island. So it taps for blue. I like that tap for blue is in the reminder text, because just tapping for blue is an inherent thing of islands. I think I've talked about this before. These all sort of blur together. Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more other islands. When Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. So you don't draw it back to your hand, you're going to draw it next turn, but sure. You could do a bunch of shenanigans with Mystic Sanctuary, and you should. You should do that. Oh, good. Here she is. It's Merfolk Secret Keeper. Single blue mana for a 0/4 Merfolk Wizard. That's it. Ah, but wait, this Merfolk can go on an adventure. The adventure is called Venture Deeper. Anybody remember the names of any adventures other than Stomp? Everybody remembers Stomp, because we saw so much of it. Anyway, Venture Deeper. Sorcery, as most of them are. Target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. So you mill them for 4, and then in your next turn you get to play this 0/4 that blocks, and then on a later turn you play Runaway together to bounce their creature and your creature, and then you mill them again, and yeah, I have a lot of Merfolk Secret Keeper related trauma that I guess I have to work through. Fierce Witch Stalker, though. 2 green for a 4/4 wolf. Love a good green square creature, you know, the 4/4 for 4. Love a good green square. It's got trample, already better. And when it enters the battlefield, make a food. What a great creature. What a nice, efficient creature with way too many teeth. Good stuff. Prophet of the Peak. It's a 6 mana 5/5 artifact creature cat. And when it enters the battlefield, scry 2. Yeah, I mean, sure. It's big. A big colorless thing. It's probably pretty good. I mean, it gets in any deck, right? Like this set, I think, like, sort of tried to push you towards mono-colored stuff, but that often didn't actually work. So you could play Prophet of the Peak in any deck. It was not amazing, though. Oh, perfect. The other turn 1 option for the blue mill deck is Overwhelmed Apprentice. Single blue mana for a 1/2 human wizard. When Overwhelmed Apprentice enters the battlefield, each opponent puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. Then you scry 2. Great. Why not? Maraleaf Pixie is green-blue for a 2/2 flying fairy that taps to add blue or green. Excellent. This died almost immediately every single time, but hey, what a great 2 mana dork. It's a 2/2 flyer, so you get to attack if you don't need the mana. I like Maraleaf Pixie a lot. Mysterious Pathlighter. 2 and a white for a 2/2 fairy with flying. Each creature you control that has an adventure enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. It doesn't need to have gone on the adventure first. That is a great little bit of flavor text. It doesn't need to have gone on the adventure, because it should be like, you don't need to be casting it from exile because you did its adventure first. No, it's just, we know what that means. It doesn't need to have gone on its adventure first. The land continues to burn. It's great. So this means, for example, that Merfolk Secret Keeper would be a 1/5. An even better blocker. We have a Swamp and an add card for Arena. No table required. And our rare is Ayara, First of Lochthwain. Black for a 2/3 Elf Noble, legendary. Whenever Ayara or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And then tap, sacrifice another black creature, draw a card. Ayara was pretty cool. I liked Sir Conrad more, but in concert, they worked together tremendously well as a dynamic duo. Really, I'm just thrilled by the possibilities. Anyway, in draft, I mean, I'd probably just take Ayara because, you know, the rare and it's a powerful effect. But I mean, Pathlighter's good, Pixie's good, Fierce Witchstalker's honestly very good. Or you could just take the Secret Keeper and be that person. But I wouldn't recommend it in a normal draft. I think you only get into that lane if that lane is clearly already open. So yeah, I'd probably take Ayara. James is doing math. The whole pack is worth over $5. Ayara being like 3 something of that, I guess probably for Commander. Seems like she'd be fun. Honestly, more than $5 is better than I expected for a pack of the Throne of Eldraine. I mean, I think we've opened one before and it's been like mediocre. So, hey, not bad. Thank you so much. Wait, Chris from Texas. It's the letters are written bigger, and I just assume that that's how you pronounce it if you're from Texas. So, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. If you want to send us a pack, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can do so to the address on your screen. And if not, then hey, why not support the show and everything that we do at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool. Thanks for just being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for telling people and subscribing to the channel and, I don't know, do the diddling the bell or whatever the heck people ask you to do. I try not to think about YouTube too much. I'm Graham. That's James. Matt edits these and Heather gets them online, and hopefully you all have been enjoying them. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.